everyone. Welcome to the Align Your Life Wellness Show. Thanks so much for being here. It's noon on Wednesday, so we're usually here at 1 o'clock. We changed things up a little bit this week, but this week only. Next week we're back at 1 o'clock. Thanks again for being here. The Align Your Life Show is all about empowering people towards living a life of enrichment and providing you with tips and information that serves your greater good and well-being. I am Jenny Parks, Health and Prosperity Coach. I assist people with their nutrition and health goals. And today we have Heather Bischoff back. Yay! Owner of Dragonfly Direction. Heather is my friend and also a speaker and mentor, and she offers leadership development for women. So, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a blast. It is always a blast. And last night, Heather and I never really know what we're going to talk about until last minute, which I like, because then it doesn't give us an opportunity to try to prepare and talk beforehand, which is good. So everything just kind of flows. So yesterday I was pulling into my garage, realizing it was like 6:30, going, I have no idea what we're talking about tomorrow. And I thought, we should talk about expectation. And then I texted her and I said, hey, what do you want to talk about tomorrow? And she texted me back and said, let's just talk about expectation. So it was meant to be synergistic. So I'm excited. This is a great topic, especially for this time of year, I think.
Yes.
Because we definitely set ourselves up for expectation when it comes to the holidays and how we want things to look and be and feel and smell and all that stuff. And then, you know, of course, the majority of the time nothing comes or meets our expectations.
Right.
So is that kind of what you were thinking about when you were considering that topic?
Absolutely, yeah, it's part of it. But I also think on the other side of that is the expectations that others set for us.
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay. Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You see that a lot with the women that you work
Absolutely,
with?
yeah. And that comes into a lot. I'm actually doing a retreat next month in California that is really focused a lot about expectations, because as we come into the holiday season, as you know, our family sets lots of expectations, and some of the stuff, creating, part of the reason why we may set our expectations so high to create the perfect, Thanksgiving table or whatever it is because we know that our family has this expectation, or we're trying to create this perception that we're okay and we're meeting their expectations.
Ooh, good stuff. As you were talking about that, I was thinking about something that Tom and I, my husband, were listening to a recording about nutrition. Some man, I can't even remember his name, but he was speaking about nutrition and recovery specifically, but he was talking about how every year he goes to his mom's for holiday, and she cooks all this food, and he had been really conscientious about what he was putting into his mouth at this point in time, and had been for a long time, so really into nutrition and stuff. And so, he sits down to eat, and his mom's, just heckling him. Why are you not eating this? I know you don't eat this stuff, but I made it, so here, why don't you have some of this? And, it's like she knows that, but here, I still want you to eat it. And we still feel like we have to justify ourselves, why we're not eating it. We don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And that made me think of that, because I can actually relate to that story, too, in my own family's holidays.
Yes. And we are on the verge, and that's part of the reason why we selected the weekend before Thanksgiving to do our retreat in the desert, and we are going to be talking about expectations, because when we get we're busy. This is probably the busiest quarter of the year for people, because they are visiting family, they are traveling to visit family. They're around a lot of people who they may otherwise avoid the rest of the year. And it's all of those expectations that are coming into play, because it's, if you're single, well, who are you dating? Are you married? Or if you're in college, it's just all of these things like, how are you doing? What are you doing? And it's coming from a place that doesn't really feel good all the time. And it's not necessarily intentional either.
Absolutely not, yeah.
And so it's one of those things where, is it safe for me to be real? And is it a weakness if my expectations are lowered?
Oh, I love that. Is it safe for me to be real, and is it a weakness for my expectations to be lowered? Because it's true, we do set really high expectations for ourselves. And I think when we do that, it puts us in a state of control, which is a very overwhelming state to be in. But we think that if we can control everything, then we can either meet those expectations or exceed them, or if we can control everything, then we can meet the expectations of others or exceed them. And it's all really comes down to sometimes almost a mask or a farce, like we're living a lie in some ways, or if we're not meeting expectations, then we're in this cycle of beating ourselves up.
Correct.
right?
Yes. And it really does. And if you think about it, the next 2 months are the we're creating that momentum to start a new year.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. Finish this year out strong and start a new year. Look at where you are and where you thought you would, the expectations you had for yourself of where you thought you would be. And don't beat yourself up about it because, again, things happen. And the more that we control things, I have found in my life, the
less we control.
Yeah, well, exactly. Just, the furthest away we become from where we thought we would be because we're too busy being in the way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think part of it, when I say lower your expectations, it doesn't mean, it's not a weakness, it's not that you can't do it, it's just you being real. And I think we're in our culture and society, people are dying for that. They're begging for real conversations, real connection. I mean, how many times have you heard stories of people who want to have real conversations with their parents? And they're just not able to because they know that expectation is there, or they're scared because they won't meet that expectation, or they won't get the response that they are hoping for. And I think that we just need to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And trust that we're doing the right thing for us where we are in this moment and where we are heading, because our family, while they're absolutely important and they can support us in where we're going, ultimately that is a journey that we have to take on our own.
Yes, and I love what you said about trusting yourself and where you are in this moment. And I wrote this, I didn't write it down, I typed this down. But one of my favorite things that Louise Hay says, and I can't find it right now. She says something about just being okay with the fact that no matter where you are in your life, whatever's going on, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, things seem to be out of place, you seem to be going down a bad path, you're not where you want to be. Just trusting yourself and knowing that you're doing the best that you can with the knowledge and information that you have right now. And and we continue to evolve and learn and grow, and we can't be here when we're here, but we can work ourselves up to that place. It's just a process, and we have to really be patient with ourselves also.
Yeah, the process is even more important than actually reaching the goal.
We'll end on that note for now because we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll keep talking about expectations. Be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Without laughing? Oh. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Align Your Life show. Here with Heather Bischoff. I am Jenny Parks, and we're talking about expectations. What did you say before we went to break?
I said that the process is more important than actually reaching the goal.
Absolutely. Isn't that great? I love that. The process is more important because that's where the gold is. That's where the nuggets are. That's where the lessons are, the experience, and all of that.
Well, and I think that's what makes reaching the goal worth it.
Absolutely.
Because you set these goals, and we've talked about that, earlier this year about reaching goals and setting goals and the importance of that. But if you don't allow yourself to go through the process, it's kind of like, you decided you're going to the grocery store to buy an apple and you did it. So it's not quite as special as, going through the process of researching and choosing and selecting the perfect one. It's completely different.
Ah, that's a good point. You were talking earlier. I didn't write something down. I typed something down that I saw as I was kind of researching some things earlier, and somebody used the term expectation hangover. And
I love that.
I know, I do too. And as you were talking about just being around family and the expectations that we set or they set on us, I can relate to both sides. And I shared this story either the last show or the show before that, but I was going to a family gathering recently. And I was already expecting that some people that I, don't necessarily enjoy being around were going to be there, and I wasn't going to enjoy being around them. So I'm already have this whole story in my head about how it's going to go. We're going to talk about the same old stuff. It's meaningless. It means nothing. Same questions. They already know the answers to. All this is going through my head, and this is exactly how I'm talking to myself about it.
Yes.
How I am right now. And then I just stopped myself and I said, my gosh, why don't you just go have a pity party and get down in a really low energetic state and, just be ticked off and go over there like that? Won't that be a pleasure for everyone?
I want to hang out with you.
That sounds like fun for everyone. I don't even want to be around me when I'm like that. My gosh. So I turned it around and I just said, you know what? I just let it go. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. I know that there are going to be people there that I do love and enjoy, and I might even enjoy the company of the ones that I'm telling myself I don't.
Right.
And what happened? I got there and it was lovely. It was awesome. And I had fun. I had a good time with everyone. So it was really perception, my perception and the stories that I was telling myself that would have created that very story had I not shifted it and changed it. Right?
Yeah, and that's a very great point. It's a valid point that everybody can do that. Everybody can shift their perception. It's just a matter of them choosing to. Because we don't know what people, what their story is unless we ask. And so, our parents may have set these expectations for us based on something in their story, in their own experience, and they want the best for us, and they want us to have more than they had and do more than they were able to do. And even though they may not be the expectations that we have set for ourselves, there's a reason behind that, and I think that there's always a compromise, but it comes down to communication, and some expectations are just not realistic for us. Some people will be like, well, you need to be a doctor, and if you're not a doctor, you're never going to measure up. But that's not true. Because for you, that may not be what you're passionate about. That's not what is part of your journey and your experience.
Yeah, and you can always take the time to ask yourself, is that true? And, just to understand that, again, like Louise Hay said, that we do the best we can with the knowledge and information that we have right now. The same is true for the people that are speaking to us. Sometimes people just don't know better. And instead of us getting offended or upset about something that someone says and making ourselves feel like they're trying to make us feel like, we're not measuring up when that's probably not their intent. We can ask ourselves, is that true?
Exactly. And in all honesty, that's more about them than it is about you.
But we always want to make it about us, right?
And it goes the same thing on the other side. When we're trying to prepare and go over the top and create something that people are going to feel really comfortable and that they're really going to feel loved and all of that sort of thing, and we're bending over backwards and we're not accepting help and we're like, I got this. Again, that's not about them. Those like quick snappy moments because you're just like, oh, this isn't working, this isn't coming out, or my turkey's taking too long to cook, or whatever it might be. That is not about the other people that are in the room. It's about you trying to create. You've set an expectation and you're trying to create something for other people, and because of the expectation, you're not even meeting your mark.
And you're controlling your control so you can stay out of control and overwhelmed. And that just goes back to something that I learned as I was being coached a few years ago about it's just an addictive state of mind. It's what we know, and so we continue to go there over and over again, and even though it's painful. We keep doing it because it's all we know
Right.
until we decide to become aware, until we make that decision. And it doesn't happen one time and then you've forever perfect, about catching yourself when you're doing that. It's just an awareness, and you're not going to catch yourself every time at first. But the more that you do it, the more that you flip that switch, then that becomes the new normal and the new habit.
Absolutely. And when you think about the expectations that you're setting, it's a way that you honor yourself. It's a way that you can show and share love. And when you're so caught up in your head about, I'm creating this perfect experience or experiment for people, like I want them to be welcomed in and to feel loved, or I want them to have this perspective that I'm doing really well, and you're not, when you kind of take the air out of the balloon, it's just like, wow, it doesn't really matter. I can still love them, and they're actually going to receive it much better because they're going to be much more open to it. Whereas when you're just very rigid and, oh, this has to be exactly like this, the message that you're sending is not the one that you're trying to.
Yeah, I like the example of the turkey's not, cooked, and it's taking longer than I thought. This isn't perfect. This isn't going right. This is too runny. It puts you in an energetic state that other people feel, irregardless of whether they're conscious of, sitting there going, wow, her energy is really bad. Some people are, because some people are in that conscious state of mind, but some people aren't, and they just will internalize that. They will become that energy without even knowing it, that you're putting off. So suddenly you have a room full of people that are maybe complaining or whining
full
or
of tension.
upset. There's tension. You can feel it. So when you shift that in yourself, your energy can actually change that situation and scenario also.
And there's you probably go through lots of wine too.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, let's just drink this away. That'll fix it. That's too funny. Well, we'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll offer up some tips or something like that about expectations and how you can really just get a little bit better with yourself about changing your perception of what that really means. We'll be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Align Your Life show here with Heather Bischoff, and we're talking about expectations. I copied and pasted something from Wayne Dyer. I've been on if you're friends with me on Facebook, you know this because I've been on a Wayne Dyer binge big time lately, and I've been posting a lot of his stuff, but also just really immersing myself in his books and his podcasts. I can't seem to get enough lately. One of the books that I have of his is called The Tao Te Ching, Change Your Thoughts and Change Your Life. And this didn't come specifically from that, but he references the Tao, which It's really kind of just God, universe, whatever you perceive it to be. But he talks about how, isn't it hard to follow the Tao and try to be independent of the good opinion of others? Actually, it's much harder to struggle with either seeking approval or trying to shake off disapproval. If everything you do must be measured against the good opinion of everyone else, what happens to your good opinion of yourself? Who's looking out for the soul that is your connection to the divine? You have to decide what your passion, your bliss, is calling you to do. When you're following that call, your feelings of joy, contentment, and peace will be strong enough to keep you from worrying about pleasing all the people all the time, as if it's even possible. And I think that's just such a great, perception, just a great words to really live by, because it truly is that simple. I mean, you just cannot live up to the expectations of other people, and so if you just release that from your life, things suddenly become much simpler.
Yes, it's so true. And when you're doing the things that you love doing, the expectations don't seem to matter as much, because you're doing something that you love, and that fills you, so you don't necessarily need the approval of other people. The expectations become a thorn in your side when you don't believe that you're living the life that you should be living, that you could be living. And that's when, because you feel like you're not measuring up, and you feel like, potential, I hate the word potential, because to me it's such a negative word, but that's what it is, really. It's kind of like,
it's another expectation.
It's another expectation, exactly. And it's like, I could be doing this, but I don't want to. And rather, I would say a tip would be to just silence the chatter. Give yourself some time every day to really listen to your heart and figure out what it is that you really do want in your life, and look at the expectations that surround you. And one of the programs that I teach is Who Are You Without the Labels?
I love that.
And it's because we affix these labels to us. The labels come from expectations from outside sources all the time, and those labels always shift. They always shift, and when they do, a lot of times we are left asking ourselves, oh my gosh, who am I? What do I like? I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and she was really embarrassed because she's like, I'm a 40-some-year-old woman, and I don't know what I'm passionate about. And that is very normal, because we are so, fast forward all the time, that we don't take the time to silence ourselves, whether that be through meditation or prayer, or just giving ourselves some time to just be still.
Great point. And I think sometimes when people hear people like you say we need to silence ourselves, we're not taking the time to silence ourselves, and we wonder, how in the heck can I silence myself? I have all this stuff going on. I'm so overwhelmed all the time. And that's what we say. I'm stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. So now we've created that story again.
Well, no wonder.
Now we're going to live it, because that's what we're saying to ourselves.
Yes.
But again, we're in these human bodies too, and we're in this world where labels are present, where we have to be human enough to communicate with words, because that's how we talk. That's how we communicate with each other. But when you remove the words and you just connect to that place within, that's what you're referencing. Yes. And it's not like, there's going to be this big flash or bolt of lightning, and suddenly you're like, whoa, oh, wow, this is nice. Okay, that's what I was looking for. It doesn't work like that, because it's a journey. It's a process. And even people who are like Wayne Dyer, who lived his life like that, would openly admit that there are times when he would still come back to this state of ego and what worldly expectations and things like that. But now he's been practicing so long and very conscientiously to be a different way and to connect to the divinity inside of himself and to his soul rather than the world, that now it's easier for him to say, oh, I know what that is. Okay, let it go.
Yes.
Or to go to something that he knows is going to help him to do that.
But you have to want to. Because if you don't want to, then you're not going to.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can choose to just, like Jenny was talking at the top of the show, have a pity party, but that doesn't move you forward. It doesn't help you get resolution in your life. It doesn't help you release anything. You have to want to be willing to go through the process. Otherwise, you're not going to. You're just going to be fighting yourself and feeling really horrible doing it.
Yep. So don't do that. That's all. That's our message for today. Don't do that. The end. No, but really, as we're especially heading into the holidays, I know I always, at this point in time, right before right before Halloween. I'm always looking forward to the rest of the year. And, you know, in my mind it is. It's like, oh, you know, we're going to have the family meals and the presents and gift buying and wrapping and decorating. And all of that brings about good feelings and fun and joy when you think about it. But just, you know, release the expectations. Go ahead and think about it and feel good about it. But just choose to really just try your best to go with the flow this holiday season, because I promise you it will bring a lot more joy into the entire process and a lot less stress.
And to the people around you.
Absolutely. So you have, I know, Joshua Tree coming up next month.
Yes.
Let's hear about that.
Joshua Tree, or Breakaway Weekend. We will be in LA, driving up to Joshua Tree National Park, which is a vast desert that has these Joshua trees that are pretty incredible. And we will be spending the weekend. It's a women's retreat. I think there's only 3 tickets left.
Yay.
And we're just going to be spending the weekend in the desert, clearing our minds, clearing the expectations, and really figuring out what's important to us to finish 2015 strong and to ring in 2016 with a clear idea of what we want to accomplish.
What better timing and what better way? I just think surrounding yourself with people on the same mission as you, no matter what that is so beneficial. So awesome. Anything else coming up?
Yeah, I would definitely check out the Dragonfly Direction Facebook page or my website, which is dragonflydirection.com. I'm going to be doing another free webinar coming up in the next few months called The Labels That Define Us.
Awesome.
And it's a free webinar that anybody can take, and so that will be released soon. I did one back in October, or earlier this month, I guess it was, and so I'll be doing that again. And we just wrapped up 21 days of receiving.
How was that?
So it was amazing.
Awesome.
It was amazing. So definitely check out the page. There's going to be some more stuff. I've not decided. I may wait until the beginning of the year just because I know people are busy. But feel free to reach out to me anytime, and those programs are always available.
And the best way to reach you is dragonflydirection.com?
Yep, dragonflydirection.com, or you can email me directly at heather@dragonflydirection.com.
Awesome. Thanks again for being here, my friend.
Thank you.
Heather will be back next month, always here on the third Wednesday.
On my birthday.
It will be your birthday.
It'll be my birthday.
Awesome. How old will you be?
39.
Woohoo! All right. Awesome. That'll be a fun show. We'll
Yes.
come up with some shenanigans or something.
Yes.
I'm having 2 nutritional cleansing presentations, one in Fishers and one in Noblesville, November 10th and 11th. So if you're interested in getting fit for the holidays, getting ready energetically for the holidays, come out and you can learn. It's a free presentation. Contact me at jennyparks@alignyourlifewellness.com or my phone number, 317-945-8268, or find me on Facebook. That's always the easiest way. And there's also a workshop coming up in January 23rd. It is a self-care workshop, a one-day workshop where we'll be talking about different modalities for taking care of yourself, including the work of Byron Katie, which we've talked about on this show before too. So that'll be a great day. Thanks to Jim Wofford, Logan Street Signs and Banners, and the Wofford Theater for allowing us to be here every week with you. We'll see you back here next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Thanks for being here. Bye, everyone.